Guilt blocks abundance. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. My name is Jaslyn Kaur, and I'm a business coach. In this video, I want to talk about guilt. I feel like, as a therapist, this is an emotion that I've seen a lot of therapists, a lot of health coaches feel because it's almost like a subcategory of a healer wound, which is like generational. Okay, so as women, we want to help other people. Okay, as women, we want other people not to suffer. Okay, we feel guilty when other people suffer because we don't genuinely in our heart we are told we are too kind, we are too selfless. We feel guilty for people and we sort of help them out. Nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with that. However, guilt can block overflow subconsciously because you feel like, well, other people don't have so much money, other people do not have millions of dollars, there's so many people suffering, and who the hell am I to get rich? Okay, and I was one of those people who thought, oh, I don't have this, like, I don't have this problem. Okay, I want to be rich. I'm not gonna feel guilty to sort of when I get rich, I'm not, no way I'm gonna feel guilty. Like, I want to get rich so that I can help more people. All logically, I could say that. However, in my behavior, when I started sort of receiving a lot of money in my business, I sort of felt like panicked. I was like other people are working 16 hours, like on DoorDash and stuff, and they're earning less than me, and I'm like working less than 4 hours, and I'm sort of like earning this much. Like, I felt so much guilt, and it was all in my stomach. I felt sick to my stomach. I felt nauseous. And then I asked myself, well, Jasleen, I thought you were the woman who was not gonna feel guilty when she receives more, right? However, I also come from India. I also have generational wounding. Okay, women in my family were not even allowed to go to work. Women in my family were not even allowed to work. So, me being the first generation as a woman, it's unheard of. Like, literally, my body had a reaction to it. And when you look at guilt, guilt is basically an extension of sadness. It falls into that category of that emotion. And if you have a lot of trauma, if your needs were not met as a child, if you were in a situation where there was a lot of like narcissistic parents, or a lot of strict parents, or dictatorial parents, instead of having a happy childhood, you're programmed into feeling guilty that, oh, well, how dare you play, you didn't finish your homework, right? Like, bless these parents, I'm not like blaming them, but I'm explaining it to you where it originates from. It shows up in your business, and this guilt has to be resolved. Otherwise, you are not able to take the actions required to scale your business. Okay, and men do not suffer from this. Okay, when a man decides that he's going to sort of be a millionaire, he forgets about his family, he forgets about his friends, and he laser focus on the sort of goal. However, men are single focus. Okay, we women, we are very multidimensional. So, for example, if you walk home, you're gonna notice that your kitchen is dirty, there's laundry need to be done, the sock is on the floor. Like, we notice too much. We have. That's why we are such good multitaskers. But however, when we are so sensitive to our environment that so much information is just bombarded to us, like phone, cooking, like all of that, that we sort of cannot laser focus. And I think sometimes in business, we need to realize this. We need to realize this, that sometimes having strict boundaries with your time, with your attention, with your awareness is going to push you forward, right? So for example, if somebody's sick in the family, okay, and you're just frozen, and you're not able to work on your business, you're not able to sleep, You're just waiting for the phone call. However, that waiting period is putting you in survival mode. So in that situation, I want you to look up energy center meditations on YouTube and start focusing on your energy centers so that you're outside of survival mode. When you are in survival mode, you sort of feel like it's a threat, right? Especially to a woman, if one of her family member is not doing well, like there's natural state of worrying. However, worrying doesn't help the person, right? Your health is being impacted, and you worrying is not even helping the person sort of get better, right? So when we feel out of control, we sort of freeze and we scroll on social media, we procrastinate, we don't do our business tasks, we stop marketing, and we just pause. Nothing wrong with that. However, when you are in that phase where you want a certain goal, okay, you cannot tell me that, Jasleen, I feel guilty for my family member that I have health and they don't. So, you know what? I'm not going to go after my goal. I'm not going to be successful because I feel guilty. Listen, honey, I acknowledge and validate that you feel guilty because you're well and they are not. However, if you were in their place, what would you want the other person to do? You have to remember that we are beyond this human body, okay? We are an awareness having a human experience. Energy can never be destroyed, it can only be transmuted, okay? Even if your family member is sort of what you call sick and they die, they're not dying, their soul is going to, like, they're eternal. We are eternal beings, right? So everybody comes here to learn a lesson, and maybe you think that being sick is bad. However, what if being sick is good for their spiritual growth? What if being sick is forcing them to go inside and connect with the God inside of them, right? So you don't know what lessons they were meant to learn in this lifetime. But what you can do is detach. And some of you are going to argue with me that, hey, Jasmine, that's so harsh. You're just letting people die. And how can I let people die in my family? Well, you are not God, okay? Unless you have healing powers, if you have developed that sort of faculty in your brain, you cannot help the person. So you feeling guilty is not actually helping them either. So you can still be in a happy attitude. You will argue with me that, I cannot be happy because I have this expense coming up. I cannot be happy because this family member is having a problem. You are just waiting to complain. You're just, maybe you're addicted to the guilt. And I'm going to be straightforward with you because nobody is telling you this. Maybe you are not addicted to being poor. Maybe you're addicted to feeling guilty. And you want to play small. So because you're worried to outshine your family members. You are worried to shine bright like a diamond. And if that's the case, if that's the life you want, if that's the future you want, I want you to quit your business, sit home. Don't even try. Sometimes I feel like men are born with the idea that they will not rely on everyone. They sort of have to make it work, not even for themselves, but for their family, for their partner, and they have just so much pressure, right? And now women, this new generation of women, we're having a lot of divorce, we are having a lot of separation, and this is the first generation where almost like a majority of women are working in North America, right? You guys are responsible for your retirement, you guys are responsible for unexpected bills, all of that financial responsibility is part of your health plan. And just because somebody's sick does not mean that you don't get to follow your dreams. And I used to be like you guys, okay? I would complain to my business coach that, oh my God, this happened in my childhood. That's why I'm not happy today. And that's why I cannot work on my business. Then I would be like, oh my God, I got sick and that's why I couldn't work on my business. And I noticed every month I had an excuse. And then I had to sit down with myself that, Jasleen, there's always going to be problems in your life. Your business does not stop. You can unplug, but you can't pull the plug. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to burn my business down. This is too much. I cannot handle. And mind you, I am the kind of person who will cry because she has to write a sales page. Okay. I have so much insecurity sometimes that I will sort of break down, that I will feel like I'm not good enough to the extent that I'm not able to do certain tasks in my business. And you know what I'll do? I'll cry and then I'll go to a cafe and complete that task. And by the end of it, I am so proud of myself because I did not allow my emotions get in the way of my business. Whatever is the task, it has to be done. It has to be done. Does not matter. I'm not feeling well. Does not matter. My stomach's not feeling well. Does not matter. A family member is not feeling well. No, I want to have lots of money. I want to help lots of people. I want to have lots of impact. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that. That is my desire, and I'm going to honor that. And so many challenges are going to come, but I'm not going to stop. And this is why I'm making this video. You cannot stop. Okay. You have to detach. You have to alchemize guilt into joy. You don't even know the opposite of guilt. You know, when I first started this work, I was like, why? Okay, I feel guilty, blah, blah, blah. Okay, my needs were not met. That's why I was made to feel guilty. Okay, pleasure was not allowed. Let me reverse that. What is the opposite of guilt? And I was like, joy? How? I was like, what is joy? And time and again, time and again, time and again, until I learned my lesson that, okay, joy can only come from within me because I thought, oh, this so and so friend will make me happy, so and so partner will, so and so opportunity will. Honey, no. Because when, guess what? When that opportunity goes away, then I'm back to guilt. So I actually didn't even work on that. To have a happy attitude when there's fires to put out in your business is a challenge. I hear you. But how else are you going to reprogram your body into a new future? Stop feeling guilty, start feeling happy. Okay. Literally, you have to detach the neurons of guilt, which was wired from experiences, and you have to wire joy. Okay. I have a sort of what do you call let me show you guys. Okay. Okay, so I have this, okay, it's called JOY, joy. And I look at it because I want to observe this word. Okay, I want to be happy. Okay, I am not one of those women who are just born happy. No, I have to work hard for my happiness. And I'm sorry I'm being a bitch because literally, if I don't do my meditation, I feel sick. Okay. I don't do my breath work. I don't focus on joy. I don't wire joy. I don't do affirmations while walking that I've always been happy. I don't feel happy. Okay. So it's okay to work hard for your joy. It's okay. It doesn't come natural to me. Okay. I don't have this energy. I have to work hard to get this energy. And by hard, I mean I have to go within. I have to close my eyes and put blindfolds on. No, I'd rather be like partying in Mexico. I don't want to put blindfolds on. However, I love my future more than my present. Okay. I want to change. I want to overcome myself. I want to evolve. I want to resolve. And if you are hearing this video, no one is going to save you but you. You are powerful. Take your power back. Take away all the energy you have given away to everyone and put it back into you. Okay. Guilt is blocking abundance. Guilt is blocking your business success. Guilt is blocking pleasure in your life. Stop punishing yourself. Stop punishing yourself. Go have fun. Do what makes you happy. Okay. I don't want you to be 99 years old replaying your whole life. And you're like, oh my God, I was worrying about the family member and this business problem and I didn't have fun. Shit, I wish it can go back now. No, honey, cannot. So buckle up, start planning your joy because nobody is going to be like, oh my God, wow, you are addicted to guilt. Let me take advantage of you. Nobody's going to be like, oh my God, you feel guilty. Let me not take advantage of you. Why are you not happy? Nobody's going to ask you, why are you not happy? Why are you not being selfish? People are taking advantage of you and you don't even realize. Let me know your biggest takeaway. And if you need to work on this one on one, I made this super cool meditation for my client and she used it and she saw the result in her business and in her life, in her energy. She felt totally recharged. So sign up for one on one coaching. Link is in the description box. And you get to have that energy clearing, which will clear guilt from your body and you will feel happy. I love you. You are worthy. You are enough. You don't have to prove shit to anybody. You get to live a happy life. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? Mwah.